right, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning to you. This is Morning Cafe. I'm used to Stanley Nyarugita. On my hand is a snail, and I think tukiendelea nitaipatia jina. You need Nico, you need because I'm being told it doesn't really have a specific gender, and that is what we're talking about here with Ephraim. He's a snail farmer, and it really feels one weird, two therapeutic. Having this snail on my hand, having a cold breeze. Niaje, Ephraim?
Mzuri sana.
Hey. Yeah. This is my first time having this on my hand. All right. And the fact that actually people eat this is something else that we'll talk about tukiendelea. Yeah. So I'll try in the whole interview. I'll try to have this on my hand.
All right.
Haitanifanyike kitu.
They are very friendly.
Okay. Yeah. So first off, who is Ephraim?
So my name is Ephraim Okeo. I'm the founder. Ephraim Okeo is a young, 25 years old, young social entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So I'm the founder of Kono Farm. And what Kono Farm does, we do heliculture or snail farming as a solution to food insecurity and malnutrition. Right. So we usually rear these edible snails, and apart from that, we also harvest the slime and use the slime to make skincare product from the slime. Right. Yes.
And because there are plenty of them here, so you'll be showing us what your slime is and the liquid bit of it. All right. But let's start with, because you say some edible snails. Yes. So does it mean that kuna snails zenye haziko edible?
So first of all, there's a difference between a snail and a slug. Yes, most of the time people usually confuse. The snail has a shell, but the slug does not have a shell. And also the snail has, they usually have shells, but not every snail is edible. So this one that we have here, they are edible. These are one of the giant African land snails. So under giant African land snails, we have like 3 categories. Scientific names, we have the first one, Achatina achatina. We have another one by the name Achatina marginata. Then this one we have here, zinaitwa Achatina fulica. Yes. Right.
And the fact that I have it hapa, because we rarely see it in this full flare. It's very ticklish, by the way.
Yes.
Ikiniguza hivi. One moment nashangaa ni kama itaniuma. Ukisho itaniuma.
They are very friendly. Haiwezi kuuma.
Okay. So the parts of it. Hizi refu ni nini?
So the hapa antennas ni eyes. Hata ukiangalia vizuri.
So these are eyes.
Those are eyes. And the lower ones zinact kama sensory part ama zina smell.
Okay.
So hizo ndio huwa zina smell nazo wakati kuna feeding, kuna chakula and everything. Yes.
Mbona inainuka hivyo?
Ziko active kidogo sahi. Yeah. So ukiona hivyo iko active.
Na mdomo wake iko wapi?
Mdomo iko chini kidogo, but mpaka wakati inakula the eating time ndio unaweza ona ikifunguka kidogo. So mdomo iko hapo chini pia. So we also have the shell. Shell is also the part of the body. Iko attached. Then ndani ya shell we have intestines. So intestines is attached to the shell. So inside the shell ndio digestion inafanyika. Yeah.
You mentioned zinakula. So what types of foods do they eat?
They usually feed on vegetables. A snail can eat up to 500 different plants. Wow. Yeah, so zinakula vegetables, kumawiki, cabbages, lettuce. We also have fruits, but not the acidic ones, kama lemon, oranges, pineapples, but all the fruits zinakula. We also have the kitchen remains. Snails are herbivorous, so hazitakula nyama, but hizo zingine zote zinakula. But for the kitchen remains, kama unazifeed, lazima rinse kidogo because of the salt maybe or the chili. Sio friendly kidogo. And also when you are doing snail farming maybe for commercial purposes, kuna formulated feed ambayo huwa tunazipatia. Maybe twice in a week or every day unaweza, depending on how you want it. So hii formulated feed huwa inasaidia zina gain weight haraka, because with snail farming kitu ina determine market ni weight. Ile wakati wako harvest, an individual inafaa ina weigh 140 grams and above. So it has to be 140 grams and above when you are harvesting the snail. Yeah.
And speak of weight, the viewer anaweza ona yenye umeshikilia is bigger.
Yes.
Okay. Is you meamua ifanyie nini na kidole yangu? Because you said it's herbivorous, I'll relax. That one is bigger compared to this one. Acha nitoa hivi ndio mtu aweze kuiona. This one is smaller than that one. So does it depend on the age?
Commercially, like here we have different sizes.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it commercially, a month or age doesn't matter. Kitu huwa ina determine market ni weight.
Okay.
So we usually use a digital weighing scale. Ndo wakati wa kuharvest na harvest each and every.
So I'm curious because you're the whole bit your age. Talk about the mating season.
Yes, yes.
And ikianza ikiwa ndogo hadi ifike hii age, and how can you tell? So kama hii, is it the fact that it's older? How old is it? Months, by weeks?
So like this one is 4 months old. So this one is ready. This one can be harvested. So mi naeza angalia by looking at it najua imefikisha 140 grams. So snails usually reproduce by laying eggs, and they usually lay up to 5 to 6 clutches in a year. And per clutch, when an individual snail ikitaga mayai, it lays up to 200 eggs.
Wow.
So it means that another advantage, they reproduce very fast. So after hatching, after laying the eggs, they usually take 21 to 28 days. Then the egg will hatch. Then from there, zinaanza ku grow. So from the eggs to the harvesting time, first of all, the snails, they have a lifespan of 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they are called giant African land snail. The snail can grow up to 20 centimeter.
Wow.
So 20, you can imagine 20 centimeter, it's something big.
Which is the oldest?
We have big ones like this one. But 20 centimeter is bigger than this. So when you're doing it commercially, it will be difficult kidogo kuiona at that age, because bora tu ikifika 140 grams you'll harvest it. But the more unaiacha ina grow, the more advantage, because a kg it usually carries 10 to 15 snails. So ukipata imekuwa kubwa sana, utapata kg na reduce. Maybe snail in a 1 year, utapata kilo moja inabeba less than 10 kgs or something. So the more advantageous.
Right. Right. Yes. Now the fact that umetupatia the broader bit of it. Yes. Kuongelea the venye zinaanza, how they lay the eggs. In Kenya, ukimention kwa mtu snail farming, first of all, ni mtu anakuangalia snail farming aje sasa. You know, it's very common in West African countries and Asian countries. And this has been over the years. So first of all, for you, being the founder of, you know, Conofarm, that means you obviously train people on hii maneno yote. Tuanze na wewe mwenyewe, why Conofarm, mbona ukaingia into snail farming?
Okay, first of all, here at Conofarm we are advocating on food diversity, because I personally, I believe in creating solutions, to bring creative solutions to diversify our food sources. So Conofarm is advocating on food diversity, and you'll find that what inspired me to venture into this is that while I grew up, having 3 meals a day was a very big challenge. And again, currently, a third of Kenyans are going to bed without food, first of all. And also 20%, more than 20% are facing malnutrition, and lack of protein is the major cause. Again, currently we are having climate change is here with us. And beef production, vile tunajua inachangia sana climate, things like carbon footprint, land degradation, deforestation that come from such practices. Because with snail farming, you do not require a huge space, like unaweza angalia yenye tuko nayo hapa. Then another thing, the climate has also affected the waters. In some regions tumekuwa na shortage of fish. People have been overfishing. So tumeona hii ni alternative poa ambayo watu wanaweza embrace. In Kenya it's not a new thing. In other regions it's a new thing, vile umesema. But we are trying to change the Kenyan mindset. First, kwanza mtu what kitu ilimotivate sana ni kwamba the first clients mwenye alitu promote Conofarm alikuwa Mkenya. So we also have Kenyans who consume snails, but sio wengi.
How many years ago is this? Because we started, you're 25, so this means you started
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
We are 3 years old right currently. Yeah. So we've been selling the snails in kgs. We usually sell the live ones. We sell the frozen ones. We have some clients who prefer the oven dried. Apart from that, we also harvest the slime and sell to the cosmetic industries.
Right.
The slime has a lot of benefits from the skincare products. We have also some medicines. And we also, this year we introduced our skincare products because we realized that most of the snail skincare products are being imported. So we also saw a gap there. And since we introduced the products, imekuwa mzuri because imeboost our revenues. And yeah.
So 3 years ago, I'm really curious, your first encounter na snail. Naona venye leo, for me, this is my first encounter face to face. How was your first encounter and you're like, this is what I'm doing?
So first of all, before I started, I saw people doing it. Yeah, in other regions, France, in other countries, people have been doing this. Like 10,000 years ago, people have been eating snails. So I got interested and nikaona how nitaanzaje. So that's when now I started doing some research via the internet and social media. So some people doing it. Like in Kenya, we have also farmers who are even doing large scale, are also exporting the snails. So kidogo I went somewhere for training and nikaona how demand iko, market yake iko aje, because I was also wondering where the market for the snails is. So nika have to go for those research. Nikafanya kwa farm ingine kidogo. Then later on I started. Yeah, I started with like 50 kgs, but even though when I started, some died because sikuwa najua the conditions to maintain the conditions. And
the certain conditions that you have to maintain?
Yeah, the snails usually prefer moist environment. Okay. So it is something that can be done anywhere, even in the dry areas, as long as you maintain the conditions ndani ya snaileries.
Inaitwa snaileries. Okay.
The snail pens.
Unaona kama hapa hivi hata mchanga yake iko na it's very very moist.
So maybe after 3 days what tuna sprinkle some water. And if you are in the dry areas, excessive sunlight kidogo si mzuri. You need like a shade. Like here unaona we have trees. Tulichagua places kuna trees, so the trees zinazuia direct sunlight. Yeah, so pia inside the snaileries we have mulching. Kama uko na vegetation ndani ya snail farm, the better. But kama kuna, we do some mulching with banana leaves or pawpaw leaves. So huwa inasaidia ku retain moisture ndani ya snaileries. Then the snails are usually active at night. So huwa feeding inafanyika mostly in the evenings. Okay. Evenings tunazifeed, then in the mornings tunatoa remains. So remains, muhimu ya kutoa remains ni because another thing, snails are very resistant to diseases where they don't get diseases, but kitu huwa inazi affect sana utapata ni mostly fungal infection, of which one unaweza participate kama utoi remains. We also have the predators. We have a lot of predators, starting with the house flies, because when they raid the snaileries, the time that umeweka feeds, zinataga mayai. Zikitaga mayai, ile maggot sasa huwa inakula snails. We have lizards. Lizards wanakula mayai sana. We have rats, snakes. So that's why unaona we have nets all around. Tuko na boxes ambazo kila siku jioni lazima zinafunikwa. Yeah.
Right. So far hapa hivi naona about hapa kuna 4, kuna zingine pale ndani. Tukiangalia ndani umeweka hii banana leaf. Hizo leaves kubwa. Why is that?
The banana leaves, like I said, the snail prefer moist environment.
Moist, okay, yeah.
So the banana leaves huwa zinasaidia ku retain ile moisture. So because after 2 to 3 days huwa tuna sprinkle some water to maintain the moist environment. So huwa zinasaidia ku retain moisture. Pia kama kuna jua, kuna excessive sunlight, utapata at daytime, banana leaves act like a hiding place for the snail.
Yes. Right. So far maintain kukana hii hapa. It's very, very therapeutic, I have to tell you. Kwa each of these boxes, kuna a certain number. Kama hii yenye iko nyuma yangu, ziko crowded into one area. Is there a way that you group them into individual ama zikishataga zikianza kuwa ndogo you maintain a certain number in each of them?
So I usually group them because let's say because currently demand is a huge problem. Yeah. We are facing a challenge of meeting the demand for the snails and the slime. So we've been tackling this issue by training other farmers. We have like a number of farmers ambao tumetrain. We train them, we enable them to start their own farms. Then after that, we link them with the market for the snails and the slime. So after the training, we usually offer the breeding stock. So breeding stock is a snail that weighs, that is ranging from 3 to 5 months, because at that time, zinakuwa active kutaga mayai. They are usually active in laying their eggs, because snail ikifikisha maybe one year and plus, kidogo kutaga mayai inaweza kuwa tricky kidogo, huwa zinakuwa dormant. So it's either uuze kama nyama or you harvest the slime from the snails. So huwa tuna categorize the snails after zimetaga, let's say like this box ni box kidogo 5 by 2.5 in size, but this one can accommodate up to 20 kilograms, 15 to 20 kgs. Those are hiyo ni around 300 to 400 snails hapo ndani. Yeah, so unaona ni space kidogo, and pia all the structures, because apart from the boxes we have the net houses, we have the concrete snaileries, we have the tear snaileries. Zote ziko na advantages and disadvantage, because like this one is something that can be done anywhere, even hapa kwa urban setup like I said. Ini advantage ingine because of the space in the city. Space is a limiting factor. So ni kitu unaweza kwa rooftop, kwa balcony, kwa backyard, like it's something that pia kama unahama maybe from one place to another. Yeah, so zote ziko na advantages, but disadvantage yake tu ni moja. You'll find that with time wood as a constructing material kidogo si sustainable because of the moisture pale ndani. So inaweza kuserve like 1.5 years, then replace. Like kama hizi nilianza nazo, hizi ziko 2 years old, ziko strong kidogo juu nilitumia mbao ngumu. Yeah, but sasa unaona kidogo imeanza kuharibika. So we also have the net houses. Yeah.
So before cause nadai pia viewer tuingie naye hapa ndani tuone venye ziko and all that. So before that, your biggest clientele, ulituambia your first ever was a Kenyan.
Yes.
So 3 years later, who are your biggest clientele? Because pia umetuambia kuna story ya nyama na hiyo Musin.
Yes.
Your biggest clientele in both nyama na hiyo ingine.
So currently most of our clients, most of the clients are expatriates, mostly from Western Africa. We have Ghanaians, Nigerians and the Cameroonians, kidogo Central Africa. So most of our clients are expatriates. But we also have some of the restaurants here in Kenya who are preparing the snail delicacy. But sasa kidogo to meet your supply yao, because that's why we are trying again tumeanza kupata orders za nje. Currently we are going to start exporting the snails. Tumekuwa tukipata orders za oven dried, and we are hoping that tukimit ile demand ama tukikuwa farmers wengi ama production, if we work on the production, now we will be able to like sustain the market for this delicacy. Yeah.
Mtu na quote saya anashangaa unasema story ya kukula the snail itself. Alion ulikuwa umetuambia si zote zinakuliwa, si zote zenye ni edible. So first of all, how do you know yenye ni edible, yenye si edible? Because kuna zingine utapata tu around kwa nyumba. Na mtu atakuwa tempted, wacha nikule juu. From cells ni edible, wacha nidishi. How do you know?
So what we usually advise is that before you consume a snail, kwanza ama before you start farming snails, acquire training at least. During the training, we train people on a lot of things, the species. After the training, umejua species zote, so it is easier for you. Or pia kama umepata kuna snails mali, at least tafuta advice kwa farmer. Then atakwambia like this one is edible or this one is not. Yeah.
Right.
Then but after the training huwa unajua tu like mimi naweza kama cross a snail, then najua hii ni kitu naweza. But pia another thing is not advisable kama ni edible snails umepatana huko nje, it's not good to collect it and eat it directly. Lazima you farm it for a while, ipatie maji, feed for a while, because huko nje pia labda imekula kitu mbaya, kibati mbaya ambayo inaweza kuwa ni harmful to your health.
Right.
Yeah.
Hiyo process ya kukula sasa, let's say mtu amepata amefollow hizo instructions zako vizuri, ameifarm. Instructions ya kuipika.
So there's a process even for the clients who prefer the meat. Kuna procedure ya ku extract the snail from the shell. So here inside we have some intestines ambayo iko attached to the snail shell. Here is where digestion takes place. So before cooking it or packing the meat, you have to like remove the snails from the shell. So we have 3 ways. Some prefer the scooping way with a sharp object.
Utakuwa unaumiza snail.
Yeah, there's another procedure. Some prefer the traditional ways. People used to crush the snails to prepare the meat. But for us, we usually boil water for around, we usually boil water for around 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay,
After boiling the water, tumesha harvest our snails, we wash them vizuri. Then we dip them inside the hot water. Then sasa the intestines will loosen from the shell. So snail yote itamwagika yote nje. Then from there, now ni separate the meat from the intestines. Another thing, intestines is a good food for the fish. Kama when ni mtu diverse, pia you have poultry, you can feed your poultry the intestines. Then from there now, we usually wash the snails with lemon. Lemon inasaidia to get rid of the slimy part. So after washing with lemon, it will be, slime yote itaisha. So itakuwa ni rough like the meat itself. Now from there you can package. We usually use the zip bags. Ama from there you can cook. Sasa ni nyama. Some marinate like nyama too. We have different ways to cook the snail.
Okay.
Yeah.
One client mwenye naona anafaa kutafute sana ni hao watu wa massage, because hiyo kiaka ya mtu hivi alafu zinakupandilia bana.
Ina make a good therapy sana.
I know.
Even in Korea wanaweka in facial, kuna facial therapy done from the snail.
So tungeanza kana umeweka kwa.
Yeah, then in snail farming, nothing is like, everything is profitable.
Yeah.
There is no waste. Even the shells, like we've been storing the shells. We have a plan of formulating animal feeds because the shell is 98% rich in calcium.
So unaweza dishi shell pia.
But making animal feeds from the shell powder. Okay. Yeah. So everything from the meat, slime, the shell, intestines, hakuna waste. Everything is
right. Umemention your slime na sasa viewers are very interested in your slime ni nini? Hiyo musin tunaongelelea.
Yes.
Can we get one yenye iko na hiyo slime?
Like kama hii.
Hii.
Unaona we have the slime coming out.
So hii ni nini exactly?
Hiyo ndio slime. In the slime, but we also have procedures ya harvest. So during the training pia huwa tunafanya a bit of practicals. We show them how to harvest the slime, how to cook, some even taste, because we are also trying to transform the Kenyan mindset from the delicacy.
I was trying to smell it in case unashangaa. It's odorless.
Haina harufu. Even with snail farming, usikia harufu yote anyway, si kitu kama pig farming or kitu ati neighbors watakuja complain, hakuna noise, you know.
By the way.
Pia ni less time consuming. Like you can spend even 4 hours in a day, 2 hours in the evening kufeed, kuziangalia. In the morning, like even 1 hour is enough to remove the remains, kuzipatia maji, kuchange maji and everything. So it's also less time consuming.
Ulikuwa mention ati ni skincare product pia.
So
the fact nikipaka hivi kwa sawa.
Yeah, the slime is very beneficial. Iko na a lot of benefit. Inatoa dark spots, iko na anti-aging properties, vitu kama wrinkles, vitu kama stretch marks inatoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Iko stretch marks umeguza wengi.
Acne pia inatoa like ina repair skin. Like tuko na clients wamekuwa na ugonjwa wa skin, wamekuwa kitumia organically. So you can also use it organically.
Unaiweka kwa
kuiharvest, tuna pack then tunawauzia.
So any additives kama maji nini?
No. As long as unai preserve, so huwa wanai preserve. We also have ways because slime huwa inaharibika. In 48 hours kama hujai preserve, it's done. Huwa inanuka sasa.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Right. So tuanze na hii tukiangalia ulikuwa umetuambia haina agenda the first time. So how do you tell let's say kama iko karibu kutaga mayai na hizo vitu zote?
So huwa kama inataka kutaga mayai, utaona snail yenyewe imeingia kwa mchanga. So there's a way that utajua snail imeingia kwa mchanga inataka kutaga mayai. So we usually mark them. Then pia mali snail farming inafanyika, there has to be enough soil because huwa zinataga mchanga ndani ya mayai. So without soil is a bit tricky. And usually the loam soil, the red soil is the best soil to farm the snails because I compact sana kama cotton. Cotton is not the best soil because ile compact. but kama ni cotton iko huwa tuna-advise watu kumix na sand kidogo 2 into 1. Then you can now use the, so huwa zinataga ndani ya mchanga like hapa ndani ya box. Before to introduce our snails, the first thing tulifanya, tulitandika polythene. We have a polythene paper. Then now
kutoka chini sasa
chini tumetandika. Then now we introduce the soil around 3 to 4 inches. So hiyo soil sasa ndio zinatagia mayai. Pia sometimes huwa zinanyonya maji from the soil itself. So pia kuna advantage, benefits za kuwa na
hiyo mchanga hapo hivyo. Mayai zinatoshanaje?
They are very tiny. Kuna box moja pale iko na mayai, so I think pia mnaweza ziona, but ni something inaonekana. Yeah, but ziko mingi. Yeah, so then after zimetaga mayai, let's say half of the snails in this box, we usually remove the bigger ones, tunazitransfer to another box, so we leave the eggs hapa kuhatch. Yeah, na pia space mzuri ya kugrow. And depending on the structures, like the concrete ones, huwa kidogo lazima utoe mayai utransfer kwa hatchery. Yeah, because of the temperature kidogo saa zingine inaweza kuwa baridi sana and si mzuri ikiwa hivyo.
Okay. So as we were talking, your snail moja nimechukua hapa. It has like a very tiny snail pia. I don't know if you can see it. Ako kadogo.
Yes, snail.
Yes, snail.
Hii kidogo ni young one of a slug, but I think inaweza kuwa imetoka na mchanga. Sometimes when you introduce the soil, inaweza kuja na eggs ya slugs. You know, the slugs also prefer moist environment, so sometimes huwa zina na so hiyo kama hiyo inafaa itolewe. But pia there's another time, kama utaki mambo kama hii kufanyika kwa your farm, ni mzuri ku treat your soil. So unapata kama kuna mayai kwa mchanga, we treat ni kuheat. So we have a drum there, huwa tunawasha moto, we put the soil, we heat it for around 20 minutes. So after heating the soil, so ni kuintroduce kwa snailary. So microorganism ambayo ni harmful kwa snails, ama zenye zinaweza kuwa harmful, hazitakuwa. So kama kutakuwa na mayai ya hizi, hakuna.
So inafaa itolewe.
Inafaa itolewe. So kama hii mchanga tu kuheat, yeah, but sasa mona sasa
hiyo imetoka. And speaking of which, now the fact that nimeona ka young one, now young one of a slug, after eggs kihatch, ina hatch ikiona kama tayari kuna shell ama?
Yeah, so when kihatch kuna shell. So like I said, shell is part of the body.
Yes.
So after hatching huwa kuna shell ndogo, very tiny. So as it grows, pia hiyo shell ina grow.
Right.
Yeah, so it grows with the shell.
At what age ndio someone has introduced to the now is our kubwa, because I can imagine the shell.
That's why hizi kubwa zikitaga, we usually remove the bigger ones. So after maybe 3 to 4 months, tutajua sasa hizi zitakuwa zimegrow. That's why sasa nilikwambia kuna category ya breeding stock, nilikwambia kuna snail. So hapo ndio tunajua hii bado iko active kutaga mayai. So in 3 to 4-5 months hapo zinakuwa ziko active kutaga mayai.
Right. Yeah. Usema kuna mayai side ingine?
Yeah, kuna eggs.
Sawa. Haya, tuende side ingine tukiangalia some mayais, alafu tuone kama huyu this is very therapeutic by the way. Yes. The fact that imekaa hapa all this time hata nimesahau. Tuende side ingine. Right, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. This is Morning Cafe. I'm usually Stanley Nyarungita. Kama unatujoin sahi tunaongelelea snail farming. Yes, and I have a very good friend of mine. Tulianza naye kwa hii side ya mkono. Travel all the way hapa. It's very therapeutic, I have to tell you. And yes, unasikia dhidi, unasikia ish, but then it's very interesting. And apart from that, it has so many benefits. As Ephraim Apivel konatuelezea, he is the founder of Conofarm. And so tulianza na hiyo side ingine, just taking a look at the snaileries. Sahi tuko kwa pande ya mayai na nimeshikilia zingine ndogo sana. This is very interesting, Ephraim. Usas due to meet the father ama the mother ama both?
Yeah, so huwa ndio sasa nataga mayai. Currently she's acting like a female, but huwa wana alternate.
Itafika mahali ya kuwe mzae sasa.
Yeah. So this season akitaga mayai, next time sasa ana act the male part.
For purposes of mkulima mwenye anadai ku get into this, ama someone who's very new into this, hizo seasons zinaenda after how many months?
It depends. Naturally, after 3 months hivi.
Okay.
Yeah, naturally. But sasa kama unaifanya this farming itakuwa ni ngumu because huwa tu watakuwa nataga mai because hakuna time ya kuna jua. Unajua ile wakati in the dry season kidogo wanaibernate, huwa wanaibernate wanaingia ndani ya mchanga kidogo. So environment ikiwa moist like 2 months wanataga, every 2 months we kuwa sure 3 months, sometimes even 1 month. Because pia another thing that we notice is that calcium plays a big role in the chakula yao. So in the formulated feed, sometimes you usually higher the calcium content. Yeah, so your calcium inafanya wana reproduce pia sana. Yeah.
It's very, very interesting kuona a very small and tiny egg like this. Yes. And ulikuwa unatuambia before the break enye ikicrack itakuwa na all that. Yeah. The whole body, the shell and everything inakuwa as big as that. Wacha nirudisha mayai yake kabla tusumbuane nayo. Now let's talk about even for the eggs bit, because I know you had alluded to the number of eggs, but sasa someone is very interested in this. Yes. Mayai yake as a farmer ulikuwa umeanza na hii. Yes. Will it be prudent, itakuwa fiti ukiacha mayai zote zihatch na because kitu kama kuku inaweza taga mayai kama let's say 18 for example, lakini zenye zitahatch ni kama let's say 12. Kuna zingine hazita hatch. Yes, yes. Yeah. Is it the same for this?
Yeah, for the snails is a bit different because as long as the environment is condition is okay, survival rate ya eggs is very high. Okay. So ni ngumu pati ati mayai inaharibika or something. Like every egg zote zitakuwa zinataga. Zote. As long as the condition is okay, but kama kidogo kuna iko moist kidogo ndio tricky, a bit tricky, utapata zimekauka and hazita hatch.
So kama wewe mwenye ulikuwa umeshikilia, how many eggs as she, cause naona nika bado anaendelea?
Hizo ni mingi sana. Huwa zina up to 200, zina lay up to 200 eggs. Wow. They can even lay more. So vile unaona hapo hizo mayai ni mingi sana. Inataga mingi sana.
So if you have this alafu cause ni mchanga, inabidi utoanishe zote uziweke mahali kando.
So it depends with the structures. So kama the wooden boxes, mayai itahatch tu yenyewe zigrow. Okay. But since tunataka zile snail zigrow vizuri, ipate space mzuri ya kugrow, because pia hizi snail kubwa kidogo zinaweza destroy zile eggs. Yeah, okay. So huwa ni advisable like half of the snails ziko hapa zikitaga mayai, we remove the bigger ones, then tunawacha mayai pale zikitaga. But for the concrete zikihatch zigrow. But for the concrete pens kidogo lazima tuwe every egg. So sometimes people avoid the concrete way because way iko na kazi mingi. So in the morning kama ni kutoa remains, sasa kazi ita double. And imagine collect all the eggs. Like unajua they are so delicate. Pia si advisable like picking with hands. Vile ni monokiokota. Pia like using a metallic object, like unafaa utumie wooden or plastic. Okay. Picking one by one. Very
kuchora
na let's say sasa 50 snails zimetaga mayai. Imagine collecting them and transferring them to a hatchery. Hiyo ni kazi mingi. So sometimes people, because of the wooden and the net houses, mayai zinachtu zenyewe zinaendelea to grow by themselves pale ndani.
Right. So mtu atauliza cause earlier on ulikuwa umetuambia ni edible. Lakini mtu anashangaa benefit hii kitu kwa mwili yangu ni nini nikikula?
So what makes snail delicacy unique is that first of all, it comes with a very low fat content compared to other alternative sources of protein. Then pia another thing enye iko nayo ni crucial omega-3. Omega-3 is very high. This is good with the infants, lactating women, in improved brains, memory yani. Iko na lot benefits mingi, pia iko na other nutritious benefits like the iron content is very good, vitamin A. Iko na so many benefits, but the main ones is omega-3 and the lower fat content ambayo inakuja nayo.
Are there any requirements? Ama hii ni kama tu kuku utafuga tu without anyone asking you? Do you have to get any permits from anyone?
Permit is very necessary. Lazima kuwe na KWS permit because snails are considered wildlife. Okay. So we usually advise people before starting, make sure you acquire the permit. And for the permit to be, for you to kupewa ile permit, lazima kuwe acquire training from a certain farm. Ya kuonyesha at least unajua kuzi. Then after that, you are good to go.
Training ni how long kwani?
So like we also have other people doing the trainings. We have other institution doing the snail farming course, but like for us huwa tunafanya it's a one day thing. We have 3 trainings. We have the first one, we do it every last Saturdays of the month. This one tuna involve everyone. Hiyo iko na watu wengi. So during the training we do a lot of practicals like harvesting the slime, how to cook, what we cook with people who come for the training. Hata pia wanaweza ku taste. We also have individuals we are always open from Mondays to Saturdays. Watu wanakuja, they just come in. We train them. Pia we have virtual. Some people pia wako interested na wako mbali. Other countries, utapata mtu wako US anataka pia kuventure into this, so we also have the virtual training.
Kabla tuingilie your clientele, kwa hapo najua umeguzia, for the permit, do you have to pay KWS the license?
Paid ni 1,500 and it's renewable. Inakuwa renewed annually.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So inamaanisha watu wa KWS watakuja hapa, wapige inspection waone hapa kidogo.
Kitu yote ina include KWS permit
lazima kama wacheki nini. Aya, so your clientele, because unatuambia ni out of Kenya. Clientele watadai different bits of this KWS 15 so. Yes. Do I need to again take another whole permit because kwanza tena ku transport snails all the way to another country?
Naweza sema tuko sawa.
Something made in Kenya vizuri. Because najua most watu wengi watataka kusema all the secrets vizuri ati this is how we make our products, but then if someone is going to be using this product, ingredients zake ni nini apart from the mucin, your slime?
Okay, naweza sema mucin is the natural product, the main ingredient, but we also have natural products zenye ingredients kama the natural oils. Tuko na oils mingi tunatumia kama jojoba, tuko na castor oils, shea butter and some natural oils ambazo tunatumia to make the final product. Pia tuko na serums. We have varieties of products that we make from the slime.
Challenges so far?
Current challenge is meeting the demand. First of all, that is our main challenge because slime tuko na demand yake iko juu sana. Meeting the weekly demand kidogo. That's why farmers nimetrain bado pia nimetrain but wana produce but bado to meet. So tunaona expansion, upscaling kidogo inakuwa tricky. Pia ni kitu inahitaji a bit of funding kidogo ndio.
Before uendelee na hizo challenges, so now this interested farmer mwenye nakucheki saa hii anasikia history ya slime, hiyo majimaji venye ulikuwa umetuonyesha earlier, yenye kopo ndani yake, inafaa ifike what age, ni month gani ndio ianze kuproduce?
So snail ina range from 4 months unaweza harvest the slime.
Okay.
Bora imefikisha 4 months you are good to go. Hata before ifike harvesting you can just have it with the slime, haina shida.
Do you harvest daily, morning, evening, ama?
No, once. So, but we have different procedures. Okay. There's the one we use a solution called stimulating solution, and we also have another one that we use a natural procedure. With the other one, it will take like 4 days hivi, just harvesting the slime. But during the process, lazima kuwe na freezer hivi ya refrigerate the slime so ndio isiharibike.
All right. So for example, niko na hii box na hapa niko na kama 100 snails. Moja per week inaweza toa lita ngapi hiyo slime?
One snail in a week. Half a liter.
Half a liter in a week.
Hiyo ni ile snail kubwa.
Okay, right. So kama uko na let's say
pia kuna procedure different, so it depends because with the stimulating solution procedure, a kg of snail can give you a liter of slime. And a kg of snails ni around 30 snails. Na hiyo ni kitu unafanya in 1 hour umeget a liter of slime. But sasa kuna ingine snails wengi, but sasa 4 days lazima kuje after every 24 hours ku collect the slime, you know. Hiyo ina take time kidogo.
Okay, right. Nini itakula ndio kuwe na hii ama nini inafanyangi kuwe this slime hivi?
Yeah, naturally snail ni slimy. Hiyo ni kama vile uko na saliva, unajua hiyo ni kitu natural, but pia ndio unataka iproduce slime mingi, make sure as long as una feed tu snail vizuri, unaipatia maji because they usually drink water and condition ya snail iko sawa, utapata enough slime from the snail. But without water, kidogo ya kunywa, kidogo slime inakuwa
right. Naturally, even for animals inakuwa muhimu kuleta vet anaziangalia hata kama bado hazina magonjwa. Ulikuwa umetuambia ni rare sana the snails zikuwe affected na magonjwa. So if vet angekam anaangalia nini yenye inaweza tell hii snail kidogo imeanza kupata ugonjwa.
Yeah, another thing, snail farming si capital intense. Snail farming does not require like a lot of capital. Pia utapata ni resistant to diseases. Huwa igonjeki sana. Nilikuwa nimesema the only thing maybe predators and fungal infection. And pia utapata the feed in producing a kg in a month, it costs 500 because they can also feed on remains, waste, as long as the feeds are fresh. Kama the fruits, kuna the peels, huwa tunazipatia peels, as long as umerins kidogo. Vegetables you can get from a nearby market, then pia kitchen remains. So utapata pia cost of production to doing this practice si expensive at all. Yeah.
Right. So now for you bit, let's say vet amekam, zitakuwa na some spots vitu kama hizo ama
so hizi huwa zigonjeki, but for the fungal infection ile time utaona kitu ya kwanza, utaona tu signs and symptoms, utaona snail si active, kitu ingine then you might notice some kwa skin hiyo nini yake, utaona some signs hapo kidogo whitish part mahali, hiyo inakuanga ni symptoms. So huwa tuna separate the zenye zimeaffectiwa na zingine but huwa zina recover tu haraka.
Right. Because najua as you say, huyu farmer itabidi ameenda hiyo training first of all. Lakini for someone who's new to this, first of all, uta recommend anze na what amount of snails akianza?
Huwa tuko na different people, na kuna watu wanataka kuanza large na kuna watu wanataka kuanza small. So the minimum kgs huwa tuna advise ni 5 kgs. 5 kgs is around 100 pieces. So you kianza nayo iko sawa. Huwa tuna at least minimum ni 5 kgs. But kuna wengine utataka kuanza hata na 100 kgs, kuna mtu anataka kuanza na 20 kgs, you know. Yeah. So unaweza anza na anywhere, but minimum huwa tuna advise at least 5 kgs is okay to start. Yeah.
So Ephraim, nadai because kuna weighing scale hapo hivi na umekuwa mention the different scales zikiwa like 100 or 50 kg and all that. Juu tuko na weighing scale hapa, nadai utueleze vizuri. Moja kama hizo zenye umeshikilia, moja ina weigh kama ngapi?
So huwa tunatumia the digital weighing scale. This one is the best scale to use when you are doing this because huwa inakuwa accurate kidogo. So kama unataka kuharvest, let's say you are doing the harvesting, you must like weigh each and every snail kama imefikisha 140. So let's say ume first of all tuwashe weighing scale. Like this one, hii ina weigh 70 grams, so it means that ijafikisha.
So inafaa ifikishe
140 grams. 140 so kama mimi najua kama hii inaweza shika hivi, nijue imefika 140 grams, so let's weigh. Naona imefikisha 160. Yeah. So this one is like ready, hii inaweza kuwa harvested. Yeah. Yeah, so hiyo ndio unatumia, so utapima like let's say umepima hiyo.
Hiyo 160 ni how many months?
Hii iko na like 6 months. 6 months old. So tumesha kg, utapima hiyo, uweke another one. Tuangalie.
Hii yenye imeshinda kwa mkono yangu the whole time, sitaki itoke hapa. Hii imekuwa beshte yangu. Bakisha kama moja hivi.
So unaona hiyo ni kilo moja.
1 kg. Hizo ni 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8.
Hizi nzenye zimefikisha 140 grams.
Inaona inaenda kutoa hiyo slime. Hiyo tena, in case you had not seen it. Ulisema ile lazima in one sitting inaweza toa how many? half a liter.
Yeah, half a liter.
So inabidi uifinye ama?
Huwa kuna vile ina masajiwa.
Okay.
So ina 4 days na massage.
Tujaribu kuimassage tuone kama ita.
So huwa ina masajiwa hivi, acha nikuonyeshe, like you start from the bottom, ukienda hivi.
Unaifinya?
Kidogo, si sana.
Kidogo, okay.
Massage tu.
Okay.
Yeah, so huwa hivyo ndina. Yeah, so this is a kg, but sasa for the meat, after weighing the 140 grams, tena sasa umezitoa kwa nyama, tena you come and weigh again. Okay. So the meat ita double the number, the number ya hii. So utapata maybe hizi ni 8, itakuwa 16 or more, maybe 20 snails to make a kg of the meat. Sasa juu kuna clients wanataka different.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So client anaweza come select pick aone yenye nataka nini.
Huwa ni kitu tu tunamfanyia, but pia ataona, atakuwa hapo kwa we have clients wanakuja na kuna mwingine ukimpelekea tu wako sawa na
and speak of which, so how do you market yourself, because as you say unadai demand ni iko juu.
So currently we are doing online. We are on all social media platforms. And another thing nilikuja kunotice ni social media iko na power sana.
Yeah, true.
Because when I started sikuwa na market. Later on nikaanza kumarket to myself through the social media. Later on nikaanza kupata calls, one phone call, the second one Ivo. So on Facebook, we are on Facebook, Conofarm KE. On Instagram, Conofarm_KE. On Twitter, Conofarm_KE. TikTok pia tuko, we usually do some recipes ya kupika pale, Conofarm_KE. Then I am also on LinkedIn, the founder sasa, Ephraim Okay, ukisearch pale, you'll see what we are doing.
Wajani kuuliza swali muuliza wakulima wengine mostly wa kuku. Yes. Mtu anasemanga alianza na mayai moja. Ulianza na nini ngapi? And amount of capital. Because again, that's always a huge thing for someone starting out even as a farmer. Ulituambia si intensive sana, hautahitaji kama food yake ni 500 peke yake. But ukidai kuanza una target kuwa na how much?
So I started with like 2 kgs. It will go around ilikuwa around 50 snails. 50 snails hapo. But sasa zilienda zikakufa like half of them. Yeah, 2 kgs ndio nilianza nazo. 50 snails zikakufa like half, then later on zikaanza kuzaana. I was like sikuwa na haraka pia. I wanted to learn nijue zinatakaje, how they mate, everything. Then later on sasa zikaongezeka zikakuwa mingi. Yeah, so 2 kgs ndio nilianza nayo. It cost around 5,000 kutengeneza box. Nilikuwa na 1 box. Kutengeneza hiyo box, nikaongeza ingine later zikakuwa 2. So yeah, na kwanza hiyo time nilikuwa unemployed, but previously I was doing the kazi mtaani ya serikali. So kidogo kuna pesa ilichelewa kutumwa ikatumwa baadaye. So I wanted like pia already nilikuwa tumeanzisha former CBO. We wanted to bring a solution. Unajua after facing food insecurity growing up, nikaona later on ni watu wengi, si mimi peke yangu nilikuwa na face ile challenge. So tukaanza na CBO, we were training people on how to grow their own foods with the kitchen gardens, tunaonyesha ku farm their own. So later on nikaona pia malnutrition ni challenge, then later sasa nikaanza too small, sikuwa na haraka pia, train watu, naonyesha benefit ya hii. Unajua huku chini pia vitu kama hizi watu wajui. But ni chakula watu wameishi kukula. Ukienda West Africa huko vile tunauziwa samaki,
kwa soko ni
snail kubwa hapo. Hey. So I wanted to show people pia huku kwa community, it is something that people should embrace. Na pia according to our findings, tuna in the coming years here in Kenya inaenda kuwa kitu kubwa, because the younger generation wanapenda kutry out new foods. Pia hizi exhibition tunaorganize, tunaona wakionja wanapenda sana, not like the older generation. So it is something that Kenyans wanaenda kuembrace. So in the future itakuwa tu ni chakula ya kawaida.
So inamaanisha even for the next, let's say 5 years, even for Conofarm, you guys mtakuwa expand.
To expand, like kasa hii demand iko juu sana. We are planning to have like these farmers mingi across Kenya. We have pia tuna farm na tuna train wapo, pia tunaonyesha how they could do this. We have a lot of plans. We are planning to do a lot of value addition. Canned snail meat we are going to introduce. Tumefanya pizza, snail pizza. hiyo tumejaribu na ilikuwa ina slap vibaya. So we are hoping to have our own restaurants pia because tunapata pia most of our clients are from the high ends. So tukiwa na restaurants zetu pale watu wanakuja wana have this delicacy directly, itakuwa poa. Also have our own skincare shops, people can come and wapate zile different types of products ambazo tunatengeneza from the slime. Again, we want to partner with researchers. We are going to do more research on the slime because this slime got a lot of benefits. Apart from the skincare products, we also have even medicines made from the slime.
Oh, so it can also be ingested?
Yeah, we have medicines made from the slime. So we'll be partnering with hiring researchers to do more on these. Tutakuwa na research centers. We will be doing export market from the meat. So these are the future plans that we have here. Hey, okay. And we are open to partnerships. Okay. So yeah.
Most definitely. Even as you talk about that, nadai uangalie kamera kwa mbele yako. Yes. Convince mjama the same age tu na wewe. Anasema hapa hivi manzi hakuna jobo nini. Mbona aingie into this farming alafu tukafunge?
Before that, imekuwa so sad na uwe inaniuma sana because I usually get calls. Okay. Weekly I get a lot of calls of the youth wananiambia sina kazi, mtu anakuambia challenges, you know. Na it hurts. And kama venture kama iko na a lot of potential pia kuemploy other youth, like unaona hizo plans tuko nazo tukiweza kuachieve, hiyo ni namba kubwa ya youth ambayo tutakuwa tunaemploy. So wale youth wako mtaani nawaambia tu the first step is always important. So kuanza kitu ndio inakuwa ni ngumu kidogo, but as long as you start on something, unaanza tu, later on mimi nikianza sikuwa najua like itafika one day itakuwa biashara. But sasa anza tu, ukifikiria kitu idea kali iweke hapo, jitume tu nayo, usichoke because challenges huwa zinakuja. Mimi nimechoka mara mingi sana, nimechoka hadi unasikia nasikia tu kuacha sasa. But kidogo nenda kuchoka, unasikia kwanza client amekupigia na kwambia so vitu kama hizo zina keep on going. So anza jitume kwa kitu, amua tu kitu moja, jitume nao because haina kazi kupata kidogo ni ngumu. So yeah, hiyo tu ndio naweza waambia for now.
Nimeshukuru sana manze Ephraim for having us right here at Corner Farm. Yes. Unaweza tuambia also it's located by the way?
We are located in Nairobi along Kagundo Road, and pia kama unataka kuvisit we are open anytime. Just unatuma text via social media, then tunakutumia directions and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Tukumbushe handles tena?
Handles ni Instagram cornerfarm_ke, Twitter cornerfarm_ke, TikTok cornerfarm_ke, Facebook cornerfarm ke, then LinkedIn, on LinkedIn I'm Ephraim Okeo. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Nimeshukuru manze. Nimeshukuru pia wewe for being with us all this time and learning. I hope umelearn, I hope umechukua one pen, paper, nini yote. Na mzito wetu hapa alikuwa anaitwa Nico. So ndio amekuwa na sisi. Ametembelea all the way through. It has been very therapeutic, this whole interview, but asante sana. This is Morning Cafe. We'll always be coming to where you are. So tuambie 22047 is our SMS number. Tuambie ni which kind of farming that you really want us to showcase and why. Text us utuambie at Nyarungita_TV47KE on Facebook. Why do we need to come where you are? I'm used to Stanley Nyarungita on behalf of the whole team right here. Mumbi kwa camera, amesema anaogopa hizi sana. As well as super producer Mary.